Hey everyone, it is Ellen Teresa from Advocate of Soul, and it is such a joy to have you here tuning in because as you know, I love hearing the life journeys of people and stories and all the wisdom and the thing that they've gleaned over the years. And I really feel like the human story has just gotten lost in so many different ways and it's gotten into this place where we put people in boxes and we're putting people in so many different areas, but we really don't take the time to really just listen. So that's what Advocate of Soul is all about. Those of you who have tuned in know this. I love it when my guest gets to speak and share and they share their message. And so it's a real honor and a joy to have Elle on. I'm just going to leave it like that. I met her a few years ago back in the Philippines when I was there, and we just had one of the richest conversations and one of the most divine encounters that I have had in a long time over a table. And so I wanted to get her back on to just share, to bring her forward and to hear where she is now because it's been a few years. So, Elle, it's really an honor to have you with us.
Thank you. Mine too. It's an honor to be here. And I'm just happy and grateful to be able to share my story, which is still evolving continuously. And I know it would just keep evolving as I live my life. And I love the intro about not fitting people into boxes because I've never seen myself fitting into one.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And I know when we've talked, we were talking a lot about identity and how we find
Mm.
ourselves and all of that. So can you just take us back, walk us back to how you've become where you are at this point?
Ever since I was a kid, I've always been creative. I've always find myself aligning with art and self-expression in different ways. Dressing up as superheroes as a kid wasn't something you would expect from a little girl, but that's what I did growing up. And then I found art, singing, and creating costumes for myself. I've always thought I had the freedom to express myself however I wanted to. And then you grow up and suddenly the pressure starts to come that you just have to be on this lane, strictly on this lane to be able to be appreciated or to earn money. But I never lost the playful spark of creating for the sake of creating, creating for the sake of joy and expressing the abundance of the energy that I feel inside me that I need to express and remind people that this is something that exists within them as well.
Now
And it's
you said so you
important for
said
me.
something. You said something interesting. You said to create
Mm,
for the sake of creating, create for
yeah.
joy, creating maybe for peace. So in a world where we have so many creators, we've got content creators online, we've got actors, we've got dancers, we've got musicians, all of this, it can feel like people are creating for the validation and the approval of others. So, how did you come to the place of creating just for the sake of creating, for the joy of it, versus I want the hand clap, the approval, the shoulder rubs?
Because I have been there of creating for the sake of applause. There was a time when I was in the show business and I joined this big singing contest here in the Philippines. Singing contests are really huge here. You become part of a singing contest on TV, you're somewhere. And people look at you different. People expect different things from you, and they look at you different. They expect you to perform all the time. And I've always felt that the pressure of being looked at that way has compromised on my own authenticity. Even the way I wrote songs at that time, there was a little voice in my head that wanted to adjust to what was expected of me. And that dynamic sort of took me away from why I started in the first place. That I started creating because I wanted to express something I was really, really interested in. like poetry I wrote that I just wanted to share because I thought it was personally thought that it was so beautiful. I stopped doing that for a time. I started thinking, oh, would people buy this? Would people resonate with this? Would they be able to relate with this? If they can't, if I only get one like or I only get one view, is there actually any value to this thing that I create? So then you start questioning the value of your own creations. And there's this feeling of being so lost when you start being distracted by all these expectations around you, and you start disconnecting from that very source which it emanated from in the first place. And I really focused so many years on reconnecting with that, or that childlike creativity that started me in this journey of creation, not only in singing, not only in music, but in everything. And I believe everyone could find joy in if they just try. You just try different things. It's not just one lane for the rest of your life. There's an infinite ways to express yourself. And so I had to take myself away from that scene for a while and also explore other ways that I can express myself and find joy in that until I can sing again for myself. I can sing again in the energy of celebration.
Is this something that was cultivated in your household when you were growing up? The sense of being expressive?
I think my parents just let me create. Yeah, there was always paper lying around, even paper from my mom's office. He would give me, oh, you can draw at the back of these papers. We don't use it anymore. So I just always found a way to express myself. And even now, I see it that way wherever I am. Moving to the city has been a very huge adjustment for me. But I think it's also an expression of creativity to find the same feeling that I find around nature back in the province and find it here because it is possible. It is, and I found that it is. Although it's hard since you've conditioned your mind, like I can only be disconnected when I'm around nature, which is truly easier when you're around trees,
Yes.
around fresh air. But I've sort of found this playful curiosity too. Now, what if I can find the same spark while I'm here? Because I believe that it's also like nature, human nature is nature too. And I have this sort of belief that what created cities that are focused on progress and innovation and economy is also part of human nature. And people here are driven by their human nature, and human nature is nature too. And I find myself being excited for those pursuits as well, which I let myself be excited with those things too. And I find, I find it fun, and you meet so many people in different walks of life with their different goals. And it's just beautiful to see how their journeys turn out too, and to be part of that journey too.
Would you say that it has taken unlearning from the time you were in show business? Because and even just unlearning in society in general, even if you were raised as a creative child and you were allowed to do those things, there's
Mm,
still things we're all unlearning. We're unlearning stuff in
yeah,
our families, our lineages, our cultures, our this or that. So can you just share with the
yeah.
audience some of the things that you had to unlearn to become authentic, not living by the ego, but becoming authentic to you?
Had to unlearn seeing things in black and white.
Mm,
Yes,
yes.
especially situations that you come across, people that you come across. hardships that you come across, even judgment from other people. And I've started to have the perspective of how will this expand me as a person, whether it's my empathy or understanding from what pain point is it coming from a person who would hurt you or judge you, or situations that would show you how much strength and understanding you actually have of yourself. I think that's one of the most important things. And I call it neutrality of experience. And I have this mantra I always say to myself, all is progress, all is necessary, all is information, to sort of see this wholeness, this neutrality of everything that happens to you. And you could always learn something from it about yourself, about other people, and how you can be a better, more loving person in general.
So how do you see things not so black and white? Because if we look on the world stage, okay, and we look at what's happening, we've got wars going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have winners and losers, as they say. We have race wars. We have, gosh, it seems like there's an incredible amount of war energy and people taking
Yeah.
sides, and everybody's an opponent. So, how can you remain neutral in a space where some things may demand justice?
For me, it's always been personal responsibility and a commitment to acting from acting from a place of empathy to what you can act on right now. Because there are always things that are not in our control. And because of those information that comes to us from different sources, sometimes we impulsively act on that energy of villainizing. And when you act from that, it would even affect your interactions with the people close to you. So I think for me, it's always been, how am I expressing myself? Am I expressing myself out of, okay, these are happening around me. How am I acting now for myself and for the people around me that I interact with? To be responsible for the things that you can be responsible for. Yeah.
So that means not taking on everything, because
Yes, not
empaths,
taking on
to
everything.
be an empath, it's like, oh, the world,
Yes.
it's swallowing me up, and actually it can feel like people move into a victim consciousness with it more than remaining empathic
Yeah.
and remaining neutral, because I don't believe as one who feels or one who's holding these type of spaces has to be swallowed by it.
It's very paralyzing to just take everything in. I mean, not even in the far off places where wars are happening, but also in on other people, feeling other people's energy, knowing where their energy ends and yours begin, which is can be blurry sometimes, and it takes a lot of self reminders to say, okay, this is where I want to act from, because it's a very intentional choice to always. We can't always be in a cycle of self-checking 24/7, because we would just it would just stop us from actually taking creative action. So I've always found time to process whatever energy, whatever thoughts are cycling through my mind, and give my time to process these things. So as much as possible, I can act from a place where it's clear and it's intentional and it's from a place of love and creativity.
So does the love and creativity flow through self-acceptance and self-love?
Yes. Yes.
Because what you said before was that when you were in the show business, you were always kind of outsourcing yourself to everybody else's opinions. and the
Mm,
obligations and the expectations you had. But from what you're telling me is that you actually have power over those things, and you don't have to give yourself away to someone else. You have to outsource yourself to someone else, which to me says, well, then you've probably had to unlearn the whole
yes.
fear of man pleasing, all of that wonderful stuff, so that you could embrace your own self with love.
Yeah, and it's something I'm still learning now. I still catch myself um having this people pleasing energy from time to time. But once you start feeling again the feeling of creating out of your own like alignment, I don't know how else to phrase that,
Mm-hmm.
of acting from things that you truly resonate with, you kind of look for that feeling every time now you express yourself because it feels more authentic. It feels more in a giving energy rather than, oh, I want to do this so I can take more appreciation, so I can take more validation from the people around me.
I love you, Elle, because I just love to talk with you. I feel like I'm just like, oh,
I
this is
love you
so
too. The
good.
love is here. Love is
Um,
here.
because it is a challenge, I think, in the creative spaces to come from your own essence. When you say alignment, a lot of times people are like, well, aligning, and then they're like aligning with the stars, and then they're aligning with other people's ideas. But what you're
And
really
sometimes it can
saying,
even feel forceful.
yeah, exactly, it can. But
Eh,
what you're saying, it sounds like to me, is it's from the essence of who you are. Is that fair to say that alignment comes from your essence?
I think essence is made up of a lot of things. It's because energy goes out and goes in a view. I think it can be made of the filters of perception you have, filtering information that's coming in, and having also an intentional direction to the information that you decide to take in. When you just live your life as deeply as you can, and you start seeing the things that make you a more loving person and things that make you feel defensive. Although there are times that facing those things that make you feel defensive is the best place to grow. So it's never really okay, do this and you will be more empathic, or you have more, you would gain more empathy, or you'd be more enlightened. It's always been a balance of, it's just a balance of, see, I'm losing words. Like, you couldn't really define it, but you take it one moment at a time and not judge this situation based on whatever happened to you in the past. Because something bad that has happened in the past might be a good thing in the present moment. Depends on how much you've grown within yourself and how you are going to see it now based on how this thing is going to actually make you grow. Because at the past, maybe it was threatening, it just gave you fear. But now you can all already see it as an opportunity to grow and be more loving and be more understanding of other people. Then it becomes a very sacred thing.
In your
You find joy in
past,
that.
what threatened
Mm,
you?
in my past, what threatened me? I think being in front of people, the years when I was in show business, was being swayed from what I wanted to express and expressing what I thought people wanted to hear. And then another one is what stopped me is my own self-doubt. And I think being in this very spiritual circle, um, it's just get in your head and you're just spiritually bypass everything. That,
Yes.
oh, I'm doing I'm doing progress because I've processed it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then you actually experience things that you thought you've already processed,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize in yourself you weren't ready. You were just running away from actual life and reasoning everything in this spiritual terms. And I got stuck in that for a long time. Although I've learned a lot of things there. I've learned to how to say my experience, my emotional and spiritual experiences in words. But too much words can be very paralyzing too, from actually expressing and sharing the beauty that you can share. Mm.
Is there a balance between being and doing for you?
There a balance between being and doing, or sometimes it's the same thing,
How so?
because I think there's a separation when you're just doing and you know you're doing, like thinking about what you're doing,
Hmm.
and on being comes, I mean, the awareness of being comes and goes. And I'm just grateful for the moments I get into that flow. But I think doing is sort of, for me, acting in the intention and just trying to to act like according to the values that I know I've cultivated within myself.
You like peace.
I do. I do. But I also like finding peace where peace is not expected.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I think that's one of the things I've learned being here in the city for a while now. At first, it was, I, I don't think I can do it because I've been used to being surrounded by trees and nature and the province, and oh, this is it. Yeah, this is it. I don't need anything else in my life. But there was this playful curiosity that my heart just tells me it's time to move and it's time to discover life in a new way, to find home everywhere that you go. That's the only thing that was in my mind is yes, you can find the same great feelings, the same love everywhere that you anywhere that you are. It's something that I'm learning and unlearning at this time of my life.
I know sometimes we hail the gurus and the teachers, and the wisdom traditions
Mm,
that sat up in the mountainsides and, stayed up there and had beautifully blissful meditations. And they, had this wonderful aura and presence about them. But I really like what you're saying because you're honing in on something that I feel is just so critical. We have to come down from the mountain and we
yes.
have to be with the people. We have to be in the valleys too. And you're in
Mhm.
Manila, right? That's where you're
Yeah.
living. Okay, I spent a year and a half in Manila before I had moved to Angeles City. And I was like, what the hell? Manila. I just
Manila. It's an energy, Ellen.
boy, is it ever. And I remember thinking, wow, all this traffic, holy heck, this is like, this is like crazy and all of that stuff. But where else am I going to learn to practice peace? Because if I'm only practicing peace in an environment that is completely peaceful without
Peaceful.
any opposition, without anything coming against that, how do I know where my peace level lies? And let me tell you, I learned
Yeah.
really quickly. I learned where it wasn't, you know, and I learned that
Yes.
I had to cultivate within myself that I am peace. I am peace within me, regardless of the beeping and the traffic and all the stuff that was happening. I had to do that. So would you say that the stage of learning, and I will go a little bit further down the track, but your stage of learning now is to take what nature taught you in terms of like trees and the gentleness and all of that to bring it into that city.
Yeah. Maybe this is where that sort of cultivation of peace is needed. And to be a conduit of that, even for the people around you, even just for yourself. In many moments, I find it me just needing my own my own strength to find peace within myself, which I find joy in when you do, because it's
Mm-hmm.
always there. And it's a reminder I always have to do is to slow down here because everything is fast. You have your schedules, you have your work, and to remind yourself to slow down again and see that everything you need is here and you're fine. You don't have to sprint your mind 400 miles per second to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
But
to
that's intentional, isn't it?
cultivate that.
That's
Yes,
intentional.
it is. Yes.
Because you can't just wake up one day and just be like, okay, everything's great, everything's wonderful. And you know, and I mean you can to a
Hmm.
point. There's a point for that to align your day with positivity and do different things like that. But let's be real. I mean, you can get tested on that bus ride more than you can care to want to know. You know what I mean? So like let's give an example. And I've been to Manila, so and lived in Manila. Give me an example of what it could look like for you where you have to do this intentional piece. Give me a scenario.
Um, I think when when your schedule's stacked up
Mm.
and you're just anxious about everything, anxious about uh deadlines, and you have to remind yourself that these are things that you took on that you should be grateful for that are here, that are ex opportunities for you to express and create and to serve other people. It's a reminder that you have to intentionally say to yourself. So that's what I do from time to time. Yeah.
So you talk to yourself. Do you ever do any breath work? You know, sometimes people in a stressful situation or an anxious situation just take some breaths. They center in, they pause. Do you do stuff like that?
Yeah, I do breath work and I have a sequence of meditations I do just to get myself in that grounded energy. I do this every morning and every night. Yes. And I've taken this from the time when I was in the province. I just shortened it a little bit, but I have it with me every time I need it.
You know, for me, I'm like in the process of learning how to be in this quiet space. So I'm in a very
Mm-hmm.
small little town village in England now with my partner, and I live here. And so it's not hustle and bustle. It's
Mm-hmm.
quite quiet. And so the opposite learning is happening for me. It's one thing to go from the nature into the city. Now I've gone from the city into a
City to the night.
village, into the quiet.
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't know neighbors were around. You know, I mean, it's that. I mean, a pin could drop. And I remember when I arrived, my mind, like when I was in the quiet, I was just like, oh my God, my mind is going all the time. And you don't realize it because in the city, my mind was going all the time too, but it was going in different directions and there were different things. There were so many sensations going on. And I mean, it was just like overload. But here, there is no room for overload. It just the silence reveals everything. And so in this city that you find yourself in, you obviously have to go to places of silence. You have to just kind of, whoa. Can you walk us through? And I know you said you have meditations and you have things like that, but can you walk us through a meditation?
Yeah. Usually I start with calming breaths. Um, four 4 seconds of inhales, 7 seconds hold, and 8 seconds of sigh, exhales. And I do this for how many times that I would need to find myself in a calm, peaceful state. And then in all directions of my body, I wish all living things peace and bliss. So I let my first I let myself be peaceful, blissful, and happy, and to every direction. I wish that to everything and everyone. Let all beings be peaceful, blissful, and happy. 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 And I intentionally surrender any tension, any grasping that I feel within myself, whether it's with thoughts, ideas, expectations, memories. I just intentionally surrender, and I just keep repeating in my head, let go, let let go. And I start directing gratitude, an energy of gratitude to my body and my mind. Gratitude to my body and my mind. And it silences so many thoughts of doubt and insecurity, worries that I may have, which further releases so much tension. Then after this, I might hum, inhale, and hum. When you hum it like that, you just feel the vibration deep inside of you as you hum. I just visualize a ray of light flowing in and around me. And everything would just, you start seeing yourself again as complete. You start seeing yourself again as a source of abundance and peace, where you can share again, where you can forgive again, even the tiny things that cause you inconvenience, even the tiny things that cause you irritation. Because during the day, when you're in a busy place, it could start to stack up, and then you realize it's starting to become a big cluster of resentment that you would start to notice is already affecting your own personal interactions with the people that you love. So then when I feel this flow through me again, and I feel safe with myself, I can look at all these aspects with a perception of forgiveness and know that those tiny irritations doesn't matter anymore because I'm okay. I'm actually okay. And when you find yourself there. You can remind yourself, oh, this this sort of feeling is here everywhere I am. It's something that I can always do, even silently, just with yourself, because you are always with yourself wherever you are. And when you remind yourself this, the world stops being so alienating, and you can belong anywhere, no matter whom or what you're facing. And I've always found peace in that.
In this practice, Elle, are you tapping into your own soul only? Are you tapping into higher dimensions, a higher being of sorts? What are you tapping into with this besides just yourself?
I'm tapping into something that is accessible to each and every one of us. It might be this practice for me, which I've found works for me. It might be through intense or much simpler breath work for another person. But it's something that we can come to intentionally when we stop looking outside of ourselves for peace. When you stop all the noise, when you stop all the noise and you get to a place of silence within yourself and you find you're alive, you might be a little hungry, but not so much. Something to be grateful for. You can remind yourself you're fine. And from here, you actually have the power to create, not just art, but create how you actually perceive the things around you. And I think that's a beautiful place to be, because you know that nothing in the external world actually holds you, even your idea of who you are.
Do you walk above the chaos? Do you walk through the chaos holding this space? Do you walk under the chaos with all of this?
I think you say hi to it. Say hi, chaos. How
Hmm.
are you? How are you? It's good to see you today. You won't always be here, but you're welcome here in my home. And it doesn't always have to be an argument with chaos. Chaos can be a friend. And once we embrace, I think, all these aspects of people of life, it stops taking a hold of you all the time. If you can talk to it as a friend or something that is just passing, it can be a beautiful interaction because it is also a part of yourself. Chaos and darkness and anger. If you just separate that from yourself and see it in other people, we're just projecting parts of ourselves and seeing villains in everyone. But once you accept your own wholeness and see that, oh, this happens when there's a perception of lack, of something being taken away from you, and you see the pain there. And sometimes people do things that aren't actually, they don't intend to hurt, but they're just hurting themselves. And to be in a place where you can empathize with other people's pain, you start healing your own pain as well. and understanding yourself, and forgiving yourself also for the things that you're guilty with. Being guilty also with your time is a big thing. This is what I'm not supposed to be doing. I've always found myself in that energy as well, where I should be doing so much more. I should be doing so much more, pressuring myself to always be thinking about the next thing. But you can do more actually when you're not looking so much at everything as a pursuit you should be taking, but being somewhere in a place where, okay, I'm okay now, and moving from that space moment by moment.
It sounds like you are learning, and I feel like we're always evolving, always learning
Mm-hmm.
how to integrate our shadows, because we
Yes.
were told to cut them off. This was a big thing. I know, especially in religion, there can be a sense of like, you just cut off all those bad parts, you cut them off, you just
Yeah.
put them over there. And then you're out somewhere, you're at the grocery store, and somebody is doing that part that you cut off, and what they're doing is they're
Mm-hmm.
mirroring something to you. People are wonderful mirrors. They mirror to you this whole need to love and self accept and embrace the parts of us that maybe we deem as less desirable. However, we come up with that, whatever is less desirable in us, or the things that maybe we could have done better, or whatever it may be. Um, it feels like you're totally annihilating the whole lie of separation, separating yourself from everything, but you're talking about integrating, yet not attaching to the integration. It's
Yeah.
like I can sit with chaos, I can greet chaos, I can say, chaos, hello, let just sit, let's have a nice breakfast time together. You can sit in that chair, I'll sit in this chair, and let's chat, let's talk. And it's amazing how that type of energy dissolves the power of what appeared. It's more of what
Yeah.
appeared than it actually is. So, would you say that this integration piece that you've been doing these last several years is really a massive, massive thing with your shadow?
I don't know if it's massive, but I think it's made me a more understanding person. And I'm happy that I can understand and I've grown through that perception. And I don't hold it into like a huge importance that, oh, I have to do this. I'm triggered now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first
Mm-hmm.
thing I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have to integrate it. I have a list of things because you can't always be looking for your triggers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a time too when I got introduced to integration, shadow work, where I just started to list down everything and
Mm-hmm.
do it like a to-do list of things I need to face. Okay, I need to face this and this and this part of myself. There is always a time for it, but it's important to let yourself live life and actually experience these emotions and just trust yourself that you'll be able to handle it and integrate it at that moment it comes up. So it's just, I think it's important to simplify the process and trust yourself. Trust yourself that when it comes up, you can accept that part of yourself. It becomes this simple mantra. Trust and accept, trust and accept. we can't be afraid to live life. And I do find myself sometimes fearing living. And you have to remind yourself to move forward. And it's where you'll be able to share this form of love more when you trust yourself and just accept that you're not perfect, but you're perfectly designed to evolve and grow from every experience in your life.
And I think that alleviates the suffering. That that removes
That,
the suffering, what you're saying, to not attach, like, like when the thing comes up, let's say, oh, today I got angry with the person on the bus, and then you're like, wheels get going, and then more gets going, but she did this, then I did that, and if you're not careful, it can spiral, right? And I have seen with shadow
it
work,
can.
where you just go into this abyssal spiral, and it's this never ending looping of like, gotta fix this,
Mm,
gotta heal this, I gotta forgive this person, I gotta forgive myself now. Actually, I gotta forgive my dog. I
yeah,
gotta forgive, and before long, you're forgiving plants and the clock, the whole thing. When the reality was,
yeah,
it just was to come up, right? That's all it does. It just comes up to show you
yeah,
something. And I really believe, and this is my own personal belief. I believe healing takes time, but healing doesn't take time.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Healing takes time, but
But
healing
healing
doesn't.
doesn't take time.
I think we're already healing as we are.
Come on, keep going.
We're already healing as we are. We're
Mm-hmm.
designed to heal. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
healing is evolving and realizing your own power, the power that's within all of us. It's already naturally there. So whether healing takes time or not, healing is there. It's our nature to heal and evolve. Hmm.
You said it exactly what I was looking for, because we are already what we are seeking. We are already what we are. Like like what we want, we already are. It's
Yeah.
becoming aware of that. And that's where I think healing and healers and all of those things, I love them. I love healers. I have nothing against healers, but it can feel like they're always trying to find something, trying to fix something. But are you really broken, Elle?
We are perfectly designed to heal. We're at the present moment, we're perfectly transforming. We're already our best self as we are because we keep evolving. And I think that's the point of it, is realizing that you are growing and the joy that you can find from that, of realizing that it's naturally happening because of the things that happen to you, because of the things that you experience, even your thoughts, even your ideas. It's very hard to put it into words because it's everything. It's it's everything. And it doesn't look like light coming down from heaven and kissing you in the forehead. It's just life and the beauty of conversations like this too, which remind you this is so beautiful. And there's so much to appreciate in every single moment, in every single interaction. Even the things that we deem as bad, or there's growth there, there's love to be found there, there's empathy to be cultivated from there. I think it's an important reminder for each and every one of us that at this very moment, we have that access to this realization of we are exactly at the place where we are supposed to be, where we are growing and learning and finding that we can keep evolving just as we are. And when I say just as we are, is having a trust that everything that has happened into your life is just reminding you of your own strength and your capacity to expand yourself and contain joy and energy from each present moment.
If someone was sitting down with you and they had been raped and they watched their family be massacred in a war in front of them, and they lost their house, they lost everything, and they're coming to you and they seem to have run across you somewhere, and they're sitting down with you and they're saying, that's all good and well, Elle, but I've been through XYZ, and you are asking me to find the joy in that, the goodness that can be created in me from that. Right now, I just want to take a gun and shoot someone, or I want to put the end of the misery of my own life. How can you take these truths that you're sharing, because I believe they're truths, and bring them into this practical moment with this person who not just feels they've lost everything, but they have lost some really dear things to them? What would you say to them?
Be there with them. Because sometimes words can never reach you. And there are times when you just be there with them. Whatever they go through, you be there with them. And you see their pain as it is without reasoning. We can't reason these out. It's important to be present with people, even yourself, if you find yourself in a state of loss and desperation. Just be with them in full presence of yourself and accept them for who they are at that moment. It's not what you can say or do. You're not trying to change their mind. The best way to accept them as they are and have them at least have a safe space for them to express themselves and embrace all the things and have space for them to grieve is important.
You were speaking to something about non-judgment,
Yeah.
not judging their situation, not judging how you're going to respond to their situation. I think the art form of being present, being in the moment with people, sitting in the dirt and just being there is so underrated because we
Not trying
want
to
to give the
change
answer.
people,
Yeah, we
yes.
want to give the answer. We want to help them make sense of something. We want us to make sense of it. We want to have an answer. We've got to be certain sitting with this person. But what if there's something really powerful about being in the place of just uncertainty? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to
Saying
say.
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know, but I'm here. I'm
Mm.
here with you. And just having that very present and loving gaze there is so important. And I've had people look at me like that when I was in my lowest moment. That's why I know how important that is. And I'm grateful for those people in those moments as well, because I got to experience that form of love. Or I don't know what to say to you, but I'm here. I don't know what to do, but I'm here. Presence is so important in every experience of life. People who are there present with you.
And I wonder if there's a correlation, friend, between
Mm.
being present with yourself, learning to accept yourself, learning to be in the shit with yourself, learning to be on the mountain with yourself, and having the overflow and the outflow, being that for other people. Because as much as we have gone in within our own selves, is as much as we can give out. If we
Mm,
are
yes.
distracted by so many different things, we won't be present with that person. We'll be distracted with that person. We will output what we've inputted. So, what it sounds like to me, and what you are bringing us all into in this conversation, is to be with yourself, accept yourself, look at your situations with non judgment and not trying to fix, not trying to, make it go away, like today, like right now. It's, I'm just going to sit with myself here because I'm just as human as the next.
Yeah.
They're me, I'm them. We all want to love and belong and be a part of ourselves. We all want that. And
And
I
we all want to be
love,
revealed.
yes. Oh, I was going there.
We
Go
all
for
want to be revealed. We
it.
all want to be revealed. We all want to be seen with the whole of ourselves without fearing judgment. We all want to be revealed. It's something that a quote that I've resonated with for so long. We all want to be revealed. It feels so true to me too. And it's like everything that happens to you is slowly peeling a layer of you until you're fully revealed. And it's not something that could just go in one moment. It's a lot of present moments. and deciding intentionally to be honest. Of course, with yourself first, and then all the people that you interact with.
Being on this planet is such a privilege. Being alive right now in this world of change that's happening, systems crashing, newness coming all at the same time. It's birth and death all at the same time. There's no stopping with it. We're always birthing, always dying to things, birthing to things. And you mentioned in your bio that you do not believe anymore in fixed identities because we're always evolving. Which is good news for the person in the situation where you might not have the answer. They're already evolving. You don't have to make them evolve. You don't have to make them grow. We don't have to make them believe. They're already have all that stuff in them ready and primed and active. We're already all growing.
Right, seeing aspects of yourself as non non-compartmentalized, not shelving your creativity, your health, because it's all one thing. I've grown so much from pursuing fitness goals. I've grown so much facing sadness head on. And it's not just in an area of self-growth, personal development. It's everything that's, and we go back to, it's everything. It's this moment right now. It's me feeling hot right now and and finding joy in this conversation and all the things that I learn that I actually know or have experienced. I think you learn so much from really present conversations like this when you can just be yourself, tell your story, and hear how your narratives has changed and evolved through the years. I think it's a very beautiful reflection.
You're revealing. This conversation is revealing.
It is revealing. It's revealing, it's evolving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know sometimes people end podcasts on these things. And so I'm going to end on it to to bring our space to a close. But what's next for Elle? What does it look like next?
For my life right now, I'm in the energy of sharing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been in a very alone and silent time for the last 5 years. And slowly I've been returning to sharing again and gaining strength again to be present in different groups in front of people, maybe not performing yet, but at least sharing my art and the things I've learned in the past 5 years. And I find so much fulfillment in that, in conversations like this, and just being able to share the joy I find in little things photography and symbols that I resonate with, that I draw, and sharing it with people, and also seeing the art that people create.
Before we got on, I said, you look different. You sound different. There's a calmness. There's a regulated nervous system that I see. And I could talk for hours with you, but I want to say that I just love you. I have really valued and honored that conversation that we had several years
Thank
ago
you.
at that table. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for just being present, for allowing yourself to journey inside your own self, allowing yourself to wear it, clean it, marinate in it, be present with it. I
Still marinating.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I appreciate it. And when you said regulated nervous system, I would rather say regulating nervous system.
I
And
always
I'm
say
happy to
the
be
end
regulating.
position.
I'm very grateful to be here. And I just I'm just so happy to see you again, to be able to talk to you again like this. I love you too.
And I just know, I know we're going to come across each other again. I have that feeling
Yeah, we will.
to happen. We're going to be in
Hmm.
the same space and place. And I'm going to be like, hey,
And my
here.
hair is gonna be longer.
We met so unexpectedly. Like it was just like, wait, and I'm sitting at this table writing, and there you were. And I just, I just want to encourage the audience that it's the being present that we can take away from this, being present in all of it, because all of it is as it should be, and
Yeah.
all of it is teaching us through
As
us
is.
as is, which is my book. But anyway,
Yes. Let's go plug.
I have three of them now called as is, but without edits, without doctoring, without anything, we're just being human together. And so I want to say thank you, Elle, for coming on today,
Thank
for
you
being
so much.
today. And maybe I'll have you on again. You never know. But keep doing you, keep being you, and keep evolving.
Thank you. Let's keep evolving.